Welcome to the Band Director Bootcamp podcast, the go-to place for busy band directors who want practical to build programs while maintaining balance in their lives. This podcast is brought to you by the Empowered Music Educator Academy, where we help directors like you find efficiency, sustainability, and impact in your teaching and leadership. And speaking of impact, our platinum sponsor, Kennelly Keys Music, has been serving musicians with a commitment to quality, reliability, and exceptional service. Whether you need top-tier instruments, expert repairs, or trusted advice, they've got you covered. Now, let's dive in and set the tempo for success.
Welcome to another episode of Band Director Bootcamp, the podcast with productivity and wellness tips for busy band directors. I'm your host, Lesley Moffat, and I'm really grateful to be sharing this platform with you. We know you don't have time for long webinars, so we provide 20-minute tidbits with takeaways you can use to support career longevity and a happier you. And today we're going to talk about something that I talk about a lot in my books and when I do retreats and do coaching with people, and that is about our physical health and about taking care of ourselves and our bodies. I was the expert at not doing that for many, many decades, and it sucked. I was really struggling. And so today I've brought a guest on that's going to talk about strategies for the busy people who just, how do you find time to exercise? And when you do find time, how do you do it in a way that's effective and a way that you'll continue it? And he's going to solve all your problems. So I bet you all are happy he's here today. His name is Jonathan Simos, and he's a seasoned fitness expert, and he specializes in helping individuals integrate effective workouts into their hectic schedules. So he's not a band director, but he works with people who are busy, and he understands why it's important to be productive in your workouts and to do all the things that you need to do so that you can make it sustainable, because it won't help you if you can't do it. So Jonathan and I are going to explore today some practical strategies to incorporate fitness into your busy lifestyle, how to focus on efficient workouts, and why and how this will enhance your overall well-being. I taught middle school all day. Words are hard today. So, Jonathan, thanks a million for being here today.
Thank you, Lesley. I appreciate that. It's nice to be here.
Yeah. Well, so tell us a little bit about your background, because why you do what you do, what led you to this, so that we can get to know you a little bit.
Absolutely. I have always been active, but I began working out officially when I was about 14, 15. But at that time, I couldn't afford a personal trainer. So I learned through trial and error. I would just go to my local YMCA and try different exercises. And then I'd go home and Google, research as much as I could at that time. And at that time, the internet, wasn't that old. So there weren't a lot of resources. So I had a little pamphlet of information I'd print out, but it was so limited. So I would learn through trial and error. And over time, I experienced good progress, but at the same time, I started beginning to experience imbalances and injuries. So I ultimately learned there was a right way and a wrong way to exercise. So I got iliotibial band syndrome, upper cross syndrome, all the typical syndromes. They're common distortion patterns since this is very common. So I began to pursue credentials in the industry to fix myself because I couldn't afford a physical therapist. So I began to get the credentials. I got my certified personal trainer certification, and then all these different specializations over the course of 3-4 years, and fixed myself. And then on top of that, I began to perform at a peak level. And so each plateau I would hit, I would just keep pushing and refining things and break through to the next plateau. And so ultimately, to answer your question, I found my passion through my struggle. I found my passion for empowering others with fitness education and how to make an easier transition into a healthier lifestyle.
So even though Jonathan is not a band director, he totally is just explained the process of music teaching too, the importance of getting those fundamentals just right, because if you don't, you're going to cause damage as a musician. You'll bruise your lips, or if you're not pushing too hard, you'll do all kinds of damage if you're not holding them correctly, causing arthritis and the like. And that same thing goes into the gym and working out kind of thing. There's a lot more involved than just doing it. And so as you talk about that importance of doing it safely too, and the like, And then I love your motivation in the way that you just were like, I'll just keep learning. I can't afford it, but I'm going to go figure this out. I'll Google it. And then when you go through that process, you really learn a lot by that process. And so were there any challenges when you did that, or did it all come together super easy for you?
No, definitely many challenges. Learning the information, applying it, and of course, getting some feedback from different friends who are, professionals on the rehab side. And so just getting help wherever I could, and just constantly learning, being open to growth, being open to constantly learning, and trying to get experience on both sides. So as a master trainer and a hybrid athlete with different types of training styles, cross training. And on top of that, I wasn't always in the fitness industry. So I worked in restaurants for a while, where I worked, as most of you know, they're long hours. So I didn't have a lot of time to work out. And then I had a business venture, so I never had a lot of time to really train. And then I got in the fitness industry. More recently, I had a small business. So my point is that I never really had a lot of time to work out. So I learned how to be as efficient and effective as possible, and also how to scale it back during times when I was too busy. So, and I'm sure we'll touch on that later.
Well, this would be a good time, because I can tell you all these band directors out there, they got concerts, they got trips, they got festivals, they got meetings, they got fundraisers, they got basketball, everything. They're busy all the time. So you can relate to that, because you have lived that. So when it's just super overwhelming, do you just say, I'll get to exercise later, I'll do it in a month or two? Or do you say, I'm going to fit little pieces in? Tell us how you solve that.
Absolutely. So you don't want to just fall off the wagon and jump back on when it's convenient. You do want to make fitness a part of your life, like brushing your teeth, sleeping, eating, just because it has so many benefits that compound for the time that you put in. So for example, you put in an hour or 45 minutes, 2-3 times a week, the benefits that gives you mentally and physically, your immune system, the mental clarity, the mental health in general, it's just nothing compares for that minimal time you put in for all the benefits. Your body's more injury resistant. The list goes on. So it's definitely worth the time. And anyways, to answer your question, it's reeling it back. So if I had a really busy week and I could only work out one time, you could do a full body workout, which I'll break down for you shortly. Or if you can only get out and walk, or do some form of activity, anything helps, because it's stimulation to maintain. So instead of falling off the bandwagon, you just scale it back to what you can do. So if I'm so busy and I'm getting up at 5 a.m., going to bed at 11 p.m., have no time to squeeze in a 30-minute, 45-minute workout all week, then I can simply do what I can. Anything helps as long as it takes. If I'm so busy for a month, you just fit in what you can. A walk today. Maybe you can fit in some body weight exercises for 15 minutes tomorrow. Anything helps to maintain that stimulation, to keep that progress.
It doesn't take a ton either. That's the thing that I want to say. And so for people that are worried about getting started, like, I haven't been to the gym, I don't know what to do or whatever, you got to start somewhere, and it might feel awkward. It feels awkward when you put a brand new instrument in a student's hand and you tell them to blow into a piece of metal and get a good sound, right? You got to overcome those things. And I remember when I had first, a little under 10 years ago, when I had that realization of, I'm either going to die or I got to change a whole lot of things. And I did a lot. I lost tons of weight, did a bunch of yoga, and was really getting in shape, but I had flappy arms underneath, and I just hated that. So I was like, I'm just going to start push-ups, because I know if I could just build that part. Oh my God, I had no upper body strength for push-ups. I did one push-up. It was on April 1st. I remember that day. One push-up, and I thought I was going to die. I was super dramatic about it. The next day, April 2nd, I did 2 push-ups, and they were both really hard. On day 3, I did 3 push-ups. And the first one was a little easier, right? Well, day after day, I was adding them. And so by the time I got to April 15th, I did 15 push-ups. But on the 16th, I'm like, oh, there's no way in hell I can do 16. I will. That was it. So on the April 16th, I did one set of 15 push-ups. And then about half an hour later, I did another set of 15. So suddenly I did 30 push-ups. By the end of the month, I had added 2 more sets. And I went April 1st from barely being able to do 1 push-up to being able to do 60 in chunks of 15. But it's the little tiny bits. If I had said on April 1st, I'm going to do 60 push-ups, I would have failed and quit.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
so it's breaking, and you know this because you were just talking about it, but I just want to give like a concrete example of a little bit, and then that consistency. It
Yes.
doesn't take that long to do the push-ups. It's just a matter of stopping and doing them. And I drink 4 little tiny cups of coffee every morning. So between each cup of coffee is when I do them while I'm waiting for those to
That's
brew.
amazing.
Otherwise, I'm just going to stand there and watch the coffee brew. So
You got in a very inspirational story. That's a perfect example right there.
so tell us about, let's see, what else was I going to ask you? You started talking about some good stuff, and then I just started listening and started to think of more brilliant questions.
Oh,
Oh, so we talked a little bit about why. I got to say, even though you're the guest and I should be interviewing you, I felt like shit before I exercised on a regular basis. I was like, my legs kicked all the time. I was on medication for restless leg syndrome. Guess what? When I started moving my legs enough, they stopped having those like freak out
wow.
moments. I mean,
That's
I was,
amazing.
yeah, my story was, being on 14 different prescription pills a day for pain, for inflammation, for all these horrible things. Exercise and changing what I eat absolutely saved and changed my life. So as we
Wow.
talk about this today, I hope people are listening. If they say, I just can't do it, or it's hard, being sick is hard. It's hard work to be sick and to move around weight that doesn't feel comfortable, or when your joints hurt all the time. So pick your hard.
I
In
love
the
that.
long run, this is an easier hard.
I
So
love it. And I can't wait to hear your whole story in much more detail.
yeah, I'll have to come into Jonathan's podcast because I'm going to go on his now. We decided and share that. So we'll share that with you. Talk to us a little bit about how you sustain this. Why is it something that you sustain? It's probably similar to my reason, but
Yeah, no, definitely. It is. So there's a fundamental why, and then there's, like a short-term goal. So my fundamental why is I want to be as functional as possible, for better quality of life and just to enjoy the lifestyle that I want to enjoy. So I like being active, adventurous. So I want to be able to, hike at my best, run at my best, jump into competitions, and do what I love, and hang out with, family, friends, and be able to be mobile and not be at injury risk. So fundamental why, and then a short-term goal would be training for to sort of push limits. So training for the next competition, I like to push myself and test limits and kind of push the human body and see what it's capable of. I think it's so fascinating how much it can adapt. So I actually got a Guinness World Record about a year ago. It,
what?
it was a weighted dead hang. So there was a record for a 100-pound dead hang and a 200-pound dead hang, but there wasn't one for 300 pounds. So I applied and they approved it. So I did, it was a dead hang with 300 pounds. Uh, and I worked up to 1 minute and 4 seconds. So it's mostly grip strength.
Wow. That must feel amazing to say you're in the Guinness book. I mean, that you've done something like that. And it's the whole process, isn't it? It's that mindset that becomes a goal and it gets you on track. And yeah.
Definitely. It was cool. But honestly it was more so for additional credibility, to use as a tool, and also for myself just to see what the limits were, to keep pushing the limits. So I think the human body is fascinating. It can adapt so easily. It's really, truly amazing.
I didn't used to know that. And I just assumed that all the bad health things I had and the arthritis and all of it was just, that's the way it has to be. And then I read a book about how our genes can be changed, how we can do things through physical, what we eat, what we do, all those things. And I didn't believe it at first, but I thought, well, what have I got to lose? And that was the whole thing, is how can you take what seems like it's not fixable and you can fix it? And it's just persistence, little bit by little bit. And again, I'm not going to be deadlifting 20 pounds, probably, never mind 300, but I can do things at the age of almost 60 that I couldn't do in my 40s. And that feels pretty good.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Your story is very inspiring, and the transformation sounds amazing.
It's
Um,
hard.
oh yeah. Oh, and then to mention, I forgot to mention earlier, to answer the rest of your question, they can break it down really easily to weight training is definitely the way to go. That's the only thing that truly changes body composition. And cross training is the best form where you do weight training, some kind of cardio. But anyways, to make it simple, they can do literally 2 workouts a week, full body, breaking it down into push and pull movements. So the body only does a series of movements: a horizontal push, which is chest; a horizontal pull, which is back; a vertical push, which is shoulders mostly; a vertical pull, which is lats, biggest muscle on your back. Your core does a flexion, a rotation, an anti-rotation, and an extension, your back. Then your legs, either hip dominant or knee dominant, and then your arms, a flexion and extension. So you can break it down really simply. It sounds complicated, but you can break it down where you go in there, full body, you do, some box squats, and you can superset it with some Romanian deadlifts, which is more of a hip hinge. Then you can do pairs. So then the next pair would be like a cable chest press. While you're resting, you can do a cable row. So literally a push exercise, a pull exercise. So there's literally no rest.
I didn't even know that.
Because
so you can just cut your workout time in half if you don't sit there. Oh yeah. You just saved me time, Jonathan. Keep going.
Good. No, they're opposing muscle groups. So they work antagonistically. So like when your chest is working, for example, not to go on a tangent, but if you get a Charlie horse in your hamstring and you flex your quad, it forces your hamstring to relax. So it'll actually help with like that Charlie horse, that muscle cramp. So opposing muscle groups work opposite. So when your chest is flexing, it forces your back to relax. It's called reciprocal inhibition. So yeah, you go in there, you can do push and pull. So chest press, let's say higher reps, and then a row. 2 sets is sufficient, especially for beginners. And then next would be an overhead press, pull down, 2 sets. Then the next thing would be, like a rotation and an anti-rotation, and they could be out in 30 minutes, even 20 minutes if they're quick.
Wow, I love that idea of like using your rest time to do the opposite. I'm going to try that next time I go to the gym.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'll be in and out so fast they won't know what happened.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a couple more questions for you, but before we do that, I want to take a minute and thank our sponsors, the Empowered Music Educator Academy and Kennelly Keys Music, for making this podcast possible.
As band directors, we know that success is all about preparation, whether it's in the classroom, on the podium, or behind the scenes. That's why the Empowered Music Educator Academy is here to help you master time management, reduce stress, and create sustainable routines that keep both you and your program thriving. And when it comes to ensuring your musicians have access to top quality instruments and services, Kennelly Keys Music is the name to trust. From rentals and repairs to expert advice and outstanding customer service, Kennelly Keys is committed to keeping your program running smoothly. Visit KennellyKeysMusic.com today to explore their offerings and experience the difference of working with a company that truly cares about music education. Now, back to the show.
All right, we are back once again with Jonathan Simos. He's been talking to us about all kinds of ways to successfully get our bodies in shape, which also impacts your mental health. Just going to put that out there too. And so, I'll put some. You said you have Instagram and the like on our show notes, so people can find out more. Is there any other way they can learn more about you or what you do?
I can send you the links, but my Instagram for now is the best bet. Jonathan.Simos. So it's JONATHAN.SIMOS. That's going to be my athletic Instagram.
Okay. So people can check in on that. Do you do coaching and other things to help people for motivation?
Yes. So I have a fitness venture I'm putting together. It's a program. So we'll have a community and then a program, and it should be done in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And that link will be on my Instagram, but the website would be, it's a weird word. It's called NewExist, NEUXIST. So newexist.com. And that would go directly to the community for now.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to put that out there about the idea of coaching, because all of us that are musicians, and especially for teaching music, we've learned our instrument, we've mastered that, but we often did it with the help of a coach, right? We go to a private lesson once a week where the teacher would assess what we're doing, teach us what to do next, and we'd practice those skills for a week and come back. And having a personal coach, this is why I do coaching too for folks, for people, is that check-in, that accountability, and that help. So I'm really happy to be able to share, because it sounds like you got a lot of stuff, great stuff going on that might really resonate with some of our folks. So let's imagine that there's like a 50-year-old band director out there who's just like, oh, that's just way too much work. I just can't do it, but I'm really struggling because I notice I'm slowing down. Things are hurting. What would you say that maybe would be a good first step for somebody to say, like, who's maybe never done this?
Definitely.
What's a safe way to start?
Just start small because exercise is a keystone habit. So I've heard so many stories of someone just starting with a walk, simply a walk once a week or twice a week, and then next thing they know, they're exercising one day, then they're exercising 2 days throughout the week. Then they join a gym and group workout. So like it can really transform your life little by little. But if they do want to try workout, they can go to a local gym and just do some walk on a treadmill for a few minutes at an incline. Then they could do some full body stuff. So, some squats, sitting back on a box squats, about parallel or whatever range of motion they're comfortable with, body weight, just going through body weight range of motion, building strength in those different ranges of motion and trying to increase over time. So to simplify that, they could use a cable machine or TRX straps and just move their body. Just some push movements, some pull movements.
That seems a little less scary and intimidating than the big weights right off the bat, right? Because that can, the cable pull kind of thing feels, okay, maybe that's a little easier to start.
Yeah, just moving their body. Just starting with a walk, then over time incorporating a full body movement day, just getting comfortable moving. And they can easily find information on that, different exercises, but just doing couple leg exercises, couple upper body exercises, and that can little by little translate into more.
I think a key for me, and maybe a lot of other people, is finding something that you like and that feels good. I mean, I'm not going to be a runner. If somebody said you have to run, that's the only way to get in shape, I probably wouldn't be in shape. I found that I loved yoga. I found that I loved walking. I don't do the super aggressive physical, stuff. I do lift weights because I know at my age, the weight resistance is going to be super helpful to protect my body. But I had to find things I love, not, and I think that's really important. My husband has a whole different, he likes playing ice hockey and all this other stuff. That's him. But if you don't find something you love, you're not going to be consistent with it, or at least something you can tolerate and like. Maybe not everybody loves exercise, but if you like dancing, put on a dance video and do some salsa, whatever it takes, but moving our bodies is so important. If we want to have good longevity and pain-free lives. I take no more pain pills because I have no pain anymore.
That's
and I used to be on high doses. So, and I attribute it to basically diet and exercise. And I wish I had discovered this sooner. So I'm really grateful to you to come on here and give us band directors kind of a different perspective, but some really important information today. So thanks, Jonathan.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you to all you listeners for showing up for your students and for everything that you do to contribute to their music education experiences. The work you do matters, and so do you. Join us next time on Band Director Bootcamp for more productivity and wellness tips to make your life a little easier.
That's a wrap on this episode of the Band Director Bootcamp podcast. Remember, success in music education isn't just about what happens on the podium. It's about taking care of yourself and setting up systems that work for you. The Empowered Music Educator Academy is here to help you do just that. So be sure to check out our resources at empowerededucator.com. And of course, a huge thank you to Kennelly Keys Music, our platinum sponsor, for their unwavering support of music educators like you. Whether you need instruments, accessories, or expert advice, their team is ready to help. Thanks for listening, and keep making music happen.